What's good, guys? As you guys can see by the title, I'm just using the logic thing because everything has a counter and all the classes are meant for specific roles. They're not going to be used interchangeably, all as rushing classes, all as posting up classes. And let's get right into it with the Type 25 class. As you guys can see here, the Type 25 feels like the only versatile assault rifle in this game. It's the only assault rifle that personally I feel comfortable with close range and long range. This class is primarily used as a rushing assault rifle class, and the Type 25 plays a lot like the TAR from MW2, so you have to learn to play with it as such. As for the attachments, because we're not using dexterity and this gun has a really slow aim timer, like from sprinting to the point where you can get a bullet off, we're going to be using quick draw just to help us run and gun. For the second attachment, I would recommend grip because this gun really does have moderate recoil, but if you can withstand the recoil, I would switch out grip for laser sight because then you'd be more of a dominant force in close range situations just because of the smaller hip fire. The perks are a standard rushing class setup at lightweight, toughness, dead silence, and stream conditioning. Because you have the ability to post up with this weapon, I do recommend a lethal, Semtex, or grenade, either or, it's really up to personal preference. The second class I have here is the XM8. The XM8 has already created a notorious reputation in this game as being an extremely powerful gun with minimal recoil and achieving the status as the only effective close-range burst-fire assault rifle in any Call of Duty series since the Call of Duty 4 M16. For this class, let's talk about the perks first. In other words, this is a post-up class, and if you don't use it how it's supposed to be used, you're going to find yourself being extremely frustrated with this gun, but this class loadout covers all this gun's weak spots. Because you're not going to be moving much with this class, there's no need for lightweight. Toughness is a standard about 90% of the guns, and if you're using fast hands, I only really recommend doubling that up with toughness, using the perk 2 greed, and sticking with only dead silence as your third perk. The third perk slot is filled with dead silence, which goes without saying, and dexterity. Because this is a slow-paced campy class, we're not going to be using quick draw. We need to be able to have an advantage in close-range gunfights, and having bullets spray out of this gun at nearly the click of the right trigger. And that's exactly what dexterity does. It's steady aim pro from the other Call of Duty games. You get your gun up in like half the time. It's really useful. Dexterity is backed up by the laser sight attachment, which further improves this gun's ability to win close-range gunfights. The red dot sight is also the prime choice because this gun's accuracy with the iron sights at long range is really atrocious. I find myself having a difficult time picking off people from a long range with it, and the iron sight just clears things up, makes everything a lot easier. The grenade is key because the objective with this gun is to keep your distance between yourself and the enemies, so grenades go a lot farther than Semtex, and that's the only reason why I recommend that. And the concussion I just have there on the class just in case if I need assistance in gunfighting, and the B23 is just there also in case if I find myself I'm in a point where I can't reload, so I can just switch to the secondary weapon and run around with that, because you guys know that the B23R is a god gun. And the third class here is the MSMC Rush class. The MSMC is a dominant SMG in this game, and everybody knows it. Even when you go into pubs, about 40% of the people play with it. They're using the gun, and that's for one reason. It's insanely good. It's the AK-74U of this game. That's it. It's a reskinned, different-looking 74U from Black Ops 1. It has the same recoil. It plays exactly the same. It just feels the same. The perks have the same setup as the lightweight, toughness, dead silence, and extreme conditioning, which in my opinion are the only 4 perks you should use for a rushing class. There's no lethal because the main objective with this class is to run and gun, not taking the time to stop and cook or throw a nade. The concussion is just there to lead the way for your rush. Normally on maps there's like this choke point when you're rushing, like if you get by that spot, you're in the clear to flank. So normally I would toss that concussion grenade there just to make sure that nobody's there, and if you get a hit marker, you know that they're there. If you don't, it's free to just run through. The first recommended attachment I have is quick draw. Because you're rushing, you need to gain an advantage of pumping out bullets at a faster rate, and that's exactly the job of quick draw. The second attachment is debatable, but I do recommend extended mags. You're going to be rushing and getting to their spawn really early, so there is still a chance they could be within a small distance and pretty close to each other. And there's just added security there with the 10 extra bullets, which could mean the difference between life and death in those gunfights. The fourth class I actually have, this is the only gun I use on slums. It's the only gun I recommend on slums, and it's perfectly made for slums. I call this gun the slum gun, and its main use, as I just said, is just to be used on slums. Because everywhere on that map is achievable with a single extreme conditioning sprint, we don't need extreme conditioning. Toughness is just the standard second perk. The third perks are Dead Silence and Dexterity. You guys may be wondering why I'm using Dexterity on an SMG, but one second I'll tell you. Dexterity is going to give you the edge on this map, and the attachments back up the fact of it'll just help you in gunfights. The foregrip will help you with picking people off head glitches from a short range, and the long barrel just because this is the only really effective map that long barrel works, because unlike this game or MW3, long barrel only does 15% in this game, where it did 25% in Modern Warfare 3. So I don't really recommend the long barrel attachment. And if you did not want to use the second attachment I just said was long barrel, and if you're not comfortable using long barrel, I would throw on quick draw, just because there's going to be an instant aim down sight from the time that you click the left trigger, because you have an added help to dexterity, which will bring your gun up a lot faster. And because it's so easy to predict enemies on slums, you know, a nade is key on that map. A concussion grenade can just kind of lead your way like you were rushing. You know, like you're over at the white truck right outside cemetery on garage side, on B side, and he's standing at the middle fountain head glitch. You know, you can stun that over the wall, then toss a grenade over if you get a hit marker, because it'll still be stunned. That's the only way I can use it. The B-23 is just there to aid if you're in a bad spot and can't reload, because this gun is a really close range map. You know, it's going to be a really effective gun. And the last class I actually have, I only use on Plaza when we're rushing A. That's the main focus on this gun. I have Dexterity to get the gun out faster, I have Extreme Conditioning to get there faster, Lightweight and Quick Draw and Long Barrel, because Long Barrel is really effective on the shotguns. I do highly recommend it if you're using a shotgun to use the Long Barrel. And the Quick Draw is just to have the instant aim down sight, because there's actually a lot of spray on shotguns if you're not looking down sight, and if you're looking down sight in a shotgun, all the bullets are centered on one little area. Alright guys, that is it for the entire video. If you did like it, please throw out a like, and hopefully I will see you guys later with a live com. Peace out guys.